Hello, this is Mr. Buffington, and in this tutorial I'm going to explain the basics of checkers, how pieces move, the objective of the game, basically all that you'll need to know to play a standard game of checkers, all inside this short video. So here is a checker board set up the way that you would start a game. Normally you don't need those letters and numbers on the sides. I may use them as I talk about moving pieces, but typically that's more in chess. So here is the basic setup for starting a game of checkers. You have two sides. Yourself, let's say we are the black pieces here, and the opponent would be the white pieces. You call them the pieces. Sometimes they're called men, but you can just call them pieces, and that works. You can have black and white, red and white, red and black. It can be any combination of colors as long as you can recognize that one team is one color and one team is the other colored pieces. That's it. So you start up setting up your board with the light corner in the bottom right-hand side, as you see right here. And then you set up your pieces on the dark squares, the first 3 rows to yourself, closest to yourself, and your opponent would do the same, set up their 12 pieces on the first 3 rows closest to themselves. There's the starting position for a game of checkers. The game proceeds with alternating turns. So the black pieces would move 1 turn, and then the white pieces would move 1 turn. I'll show you an example. The black piece moves 1 turn, the white piece moves 1 turn, and then you just keep going back and forth. Now, I never told you how they move before I actually moved them, so let's back up 1 step. The pieces move in diagonals, so they will always kind of bump into each other if they keep moving, all right, because everyone's on the darker squares. So this piece here, the one that I originally started with, it has 2 movement options right now. It can move forward to this space or forward to this space. The standard starting pieces can only move forward and diagonally. So they can move towards the opponent's side. So I'm starting here with the darker pieces. I need to move forward this way, always moving forward if I have just the standard pieces here. And the opponent will always be moving towards me, again, in diagonals. Now you can do one of 2 things with your pieces. You can either move them forward in diagonals, or you can do a move called jumping. And I'll show you how that works. If you are in a position to jump, this is one rule that is a rule in checkers, but is sometimes ignored depending on house rules and who's playing and all that. But if you have an option to jump, then the rules of checkers say that you are obligated to actually jump. And here's what a jump is. If a piece, let's say I moved from here, the opponent moves their white piece from here to here. You are now obligated to jump over that piece. And that's how you eliminate pieces from the game. You'll take one of your pieces, in this case you could actually jump with either one, and you would jump over that piece into the open square on the other side of the diagonal. So this piece here would jump over to there, or this piece here could jump over to here. Personally, I'd recommend this piece because then it's safe. If this one jumped over, then your opponent, I can show you, this one jumps over and eliminates that piece, then your opponent could take you out next. And then you would have to take your opponent out. And that's how jumping works. You jump over and they have to, you have to continue to jump. If you have an option of jumping, you have to jump. And that's how you eliminate the opponent's pieces. There is a cool thing with jumping that is different than regular moving. Let's set this up. That if you're moving a piece, you can only move it to one adjacent square. So this piece over here that I have sitting by itself, it can move here or it can move here. That's all it could ever move right now. When you're jumping, you can jump multiple times. So this piece here can jump over there and then a second jump here, a double jump. So jump to there and then jump again to there, removing both of those pieces from the game. And then the opponent would kill you. All right. So that's fun. But that's how the jumping works, that you can jump over a piece if there is an adjacent square. Now I want to address this here. Here is one thing that you can't jump over. You can't jump over two, even though they're in a diagonal and there's an open space behind them. You have to jump, you can only jump one space. So you can't jump over two pieces that are in a row. So that's a good way to block or to defend your pieces, is to make sure if your piece here always has pieces behind it, then it's safe from being jumped. So that's a good defensive strategy as well. All right, now, during the course of the game, you'll get to the point where hopefully you have some pieces up here and they move into what we call the king's row, which is your opponent's first row or your last row. So you move your piece up here into the king's row. On the turn that you move them into there, they become a king. And some checkers, you flip them over and they've got a crown on the backside, but in most cases you just stack them up. So now we've got two pieces stacked on top of each other. One of the pieces that has been taken just stacks on top, and now we have a king. A king is not as limited as a standard piece. Remember, a standard piece can only move forward from your, king's row forward to the enemy side. What you can do with a king now is that you can move forward and backwards. Not only can you move forward and backwards, you can also jump forward and backwards. Let's see. And you can double jump. I can jump from here to here, and then also take that piece and jump it right into there, removing two of the opponent's pieces. So you can jump forward and back with a king. You can move forward and back, but your piece is just as vulnerable. If the opponent were to jump over you there, you would die. Your king would then be removed, both pieces off. All right, that's how the game of checkers works. And you win the game in the end by removing all of the opponent's pieces. So if, again, I'm the darker side here, so I'm going to dark side of the force. I'm going to pretend that my opponent just moved to there, and I jumped over that piece. I removed it from the board. Yay, I win against myself. All right. Anyway, I wanted to point out one other thing that is a common, well, it's not too terribly common occurrence, but it will happen within the game, and that's if you are set up like this and you jump your piece over into or onto the king's row. You're starting out with the standard piece. You jump over your opponent's piece and you land. You're now kinged. Yay. But that's the end of your turn. And you remove the enemy's piece. You can't do a double jump from a standard piece turning into a king and then continuing to jump. You could, if you started as a king, if you were already a king, you could do a double jump there and remove both pieces, in this case ending the game. But if you start out as a standard piece, one little checker high, you can't do a double jump off the back row, becoming a king halfway through your turn and continuing on. All right, so those are the basic points of checkers. Again, it's really important that you set up the game properly with the 12 pieces on the back 3 rows, and you can practice different strategies. I might have some more videos of different ways to different strategy suggestions, but your basic goal is to remove all of the enemy's pieces, clear them off the board so that you are the victor. Hope that video was helpful for you.